October 25, 1971, is a moment that all Chinese people won't forget. On this day, China was finally able to return to the United Nations. At that time, there was a popular saying, China was brought into the United Nations by Africa. Of course, it remains to be seen whether this sentence is completely correct, but the African have indeed contributed a lot. The support votes of African countries alone are as high as 26, accounting for 1/3 of all the votes in favor. At the same time, the voting proposal on China's return to the United Nations was also promoted by two African countries, namely Albania and Algeria. In addition, there is a railway that has to be mentioned. This is the Tazara Railway we are talking about today. The Tanzania Zambia Railway is a major transportation line running through East Africa and Central South Africa, with a total mileage of more than 1,860 kilometers, starting from Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, and ending in Kapirimposhi, Central Zambia. It is the first that broke the record of spending on civilian foreign aid projects since the founding of China. Then, in that era when China's economy was very tight, why did China have to spend $1 billion to build the Tanzania Zambia Railway? Why did the Soviet Union and the United States refuse Africa? How difficult is it to build this railway? Hi! Welcome to Hot Topics Time. Before we start today's video, please subscribe to our channel. Okay, let's continue the topic we are talking about. Zambia is a landlocked country in Africa. They have rich copper resources, but inconvenient transportation has become the biggest obstacle to transportation. So Zambia can only rely on its neighbor Tanzania to see if it can build a railway to realize economic exchanges between the two countries so that copper resources can be exported. However, the railway has to pass through terrible mountains and valleys and virgin forests, which is very difficult to build. At first, they planned to ask Western countries and the Soviet Union for help to build the railway, but both of them clearly refused. In the end, Tanzanian President Nyerere set his sights on China, and later signed a relevant agreement with China in 1967, and the assistance for the construction of the Tanzania Zambia Railway was finally determined. On October 26, 1970, the project officially started construction. Before that, China dispatched 56,000 engineering personnel within 2 years, and the number of long-term residents in the local area exceeded 10,000. Along the way, the Tanzania Zambia Railway passes through many mountains, canyons, rushing rivers, as well as dangerous virgin forests. There is a large area of no man's land, where wild animals are infested, and the construction workers are almost risking their lives to build the railway. In particular, all kinds of mosquitoes and venomous bees are almost everywhere, and the workers' bodies are full of poisonous sores. An old man who built the Tanzania Zambia Railway is Juma Said, who is from Tanzania and is now nearly 70 years old. From time to time, he would recall the difficult years of construction, a journey full of dangers, with stones flying over his head at every turn, and worrying about crocodiles when he walked into the water. Faced with such great difficulty in construction, Chinese engineers and technicians chose to forge ahead. According to relevant statistics, nearly 70 Chinese people died in foreign countries. When Juma Said has time, he would go to the Chinese expert cemetery to pay homage. He is not absent almost every year. For him, Chinese friends have paid too much to help their country, even at the cost of their lives, but in the end they can only be buried in a foreign country. The China-aided Tanzania Zambia Railway finally opened to traffic in 1976. After the completion of the railway, Tanzania and Zambia will have a new transportation link to promote exchanges and development, and Zambia will also have a new sea route, ensuring Zambia's main source of income. In the past 40 years, the Tazara Railway has made significant contributions to the economic development of the two countries, and even the national liberation struggle in southern Africa is inseparable from the strong support of the railway. In history, other countries came to Africa to build railways to plunder wealth and resources, while China really helped them to improve their economy. In the words of President Kanda, the founding father of Zambia, China is the true friend, giving them the greatest help in the most difficult times. Tazara deserves to be called the Freedom Road. The people of China, Tanzania and Zambia have forged a profound friendship because of the joint construction of the Tanzania Zambia Railway. During that period, China successively invested a lot of talents and equipment. The machines used were of the best China domestic specifications at that time, and foreign exchange was also used, which was first imported from other countries and then transferred to the local area. The spirit of selfless dedication of the Chinese people moved almost the whole of Africa. Later, African countries united in the United Nations General Assembly to give China the strongest support. At that time, 11 African countries participated in the proposal on China's return to the United Nations, and 26 African countries voted in favor. It is worth mentioning that after the proposal to support China was passed, the Tanzanian representative was the first to stand up and leave his seat. On the podium, he congratulated his support for China's return to the United Nations by dancing in the unique way of African friends. However, it is a pity that the railway, which is known as the Road to Freedom between Tanzania and Zambia, has a sad ending. In the late 1990s, the Tanzania Zambia Railway became worse than before. Not only did the speed of the trains decrease, but even the internal combustion engines piled up in the factories of the two countries were not repaired. These problems can only be solved by Chinese engineers. During the 1970s, there were still 1,853 trains, but then it plummeted to 988. Although China assisted 364 trains, the total number of trains that can be used today is still no more than 900. After 2000, the cargo capacity of the Tanzania Zambia Railway also dropped sharply, and the annual maintenance cost of the locomotives even reached as high as $25 million. By 2008, the local media in Tanzania described the state of the railway as on the verge of bankruptcy. Due to the country's financial difficulties, the wages of railway workers could not be paid for 3 months in arrears. In 2005, Tanzania and Zambia decided to privatize the railway through consensus. In this regard, China finally agreed in 2011 to cancel half of the debt for the construction of the Tanzania Zambia Railway. It is hoped that the traditional friendship between China and Africa will continue to flourish. The presidents of Tanzania and Zambia did not agree to abandon the Tanzania Zambia Railway. After all, this is the symbol of the wisdom of their older generation leaders. Later, in 2019, the two countries launched the Tanzania Zambia Railway Maintenance Program, intending to restore the previous tourism support capabilities. The Tanzanian president also asked the Ministry of Transport to implement the relevant bill as soon as possible, with the first task of revitalizing the Tanzania Zambia Railway. In 2020, Tanzania also invested an additional $4.35 million to revive the Tanzania Zambia Railway, hoping to restore its former glory. In the future, with the continuous deepening of the Belt and Road Initiative, China-Africa cooperation will usher in a broader space for development, and the two sides will further promote cooperation in this project in the future. Okay, that's all for today. Please put your comments below, and share your insightful ideas with other people. Hot Topics time to explore the wisdom behind the news. We will see you in the next video.